right? And
Oh,
just
I
pull.
like this one, great.
Yeah, working one side at a time. And then we'll switch right to the other side.
A lot of these exercises really take you to have to contract your core, and that's what we're about, getting a nice strong core. If you don't set your core first, like I just realized, you might just fall over. So set your core first and then lift.
And keep that back flat, pulled straight up, perpendicular to your body.
Great.
All right. Let's put one more in. You want to do some lunge jumps?
Oh, you know I love lunge jumps.
You're
Let's
gonna
see who
make me
can jump
sweat
the
now.
highest.
Make sure, again, safety first, clear your bands, clear your weights.
I'm gonna let Tom be level 1 on this one. I'm gonna go for level 3. If you're a beginner, intermediate, or an advanced exercise, but it doesn't matter. Let's go down into lunge position and jump and switch.
What do you want to do?
Jump
Stay
and
here?
switch. You can just do a slightly smaller jump than me, maybe. That's awesome.
You sure that
But
accent's
together,
real?
we make one perfect athlete.
So again, just stick with us and we will help you get the best body you can have.
Sounds good.
Nice job. Thanks, Sam. Hello, I'm Robert Forster, physical therapist and sports performance specialist. I'm very excited to bring you my comprehensive and balanced approach to fitness. Over the last 30 years, I've helped tens of thousands of people interested in creating or maintaining an active, healthy lifestyle. One of the most basic but most important concepts in keeping fit is simple. You must maintain maximum flexibility throughout your life. The long and short of flexibility is exactly that, long and short. Meaning if you don't continually stretch and lengthen your body's connective tissue elements, like tendons, ligaments, fascia, they all shorten over time. Did you ever hear someone say use it or lose it? That's never been more true than when it comes to flexibility. For physical health and mobility, you must actively fight to maintain the full range of motion at every joint. Why is stretching so important? It's absolutely critical to joint health. You need healthy joints to keep moving well. Flexibility training, which is really a fancy way of saying that you need to take your stretching seriously, helps you maintain the proper alignment of the bones where they meet at the joints. This allows for the proper posture, whether you're sitting, standing, or lying down, and for the proper movement during activities of daily living. The better you keep your bones aligned, the less stress and strain your joints will suffer over the course of your lifetime. So, are you ready to learn the basics of proper flexibility training? Okay, now I want to invite you to sit in on our flexibility tutorial with Sam and Tom. Tom, can I have you stand here for a moment, facing this way? We're doing a little posture analysis on Tom, so Sam, we can look things over. Tom's a well-trained athlete, but we all have room for improvement. So if we notice how Tom's posture is, like so many athletes now, we work a lot on the front of our body, we overdevelop the front, the pecs become tight, and that's what sets off the whole postural problem. Pecs are tight, arms are rolled in. You see the way Tom's hands are hanging in front of him and the palms are facing him. What this does is it causes his head to go forward. So the first thing is that these muscles are working now all day long to keep him up. If we can do better at changing this posture through proper exercise, more stretching in the front, more strengthening in the back, we can get these building blocks lined up better. So I'm going to ask Tom to puff up his chest as if someone was pulling him from a string to the heavens. His shoulders fall back naturally. He's not going to pinch them. I move his head back a few millimeters and we'll see his muscles relax. Now, just keep your hand there. Tom, go ahead back to the way you normally stand. And what are you feeling now, Sam?
Pretty tense here.
Yeah, the muscles are working all day long. And that's the problem. This is what adds to Tom's stress at the end of the day, burning a lot of unnecessary energy, holding his head up. So our posture check's going to include breastbone high. The workout is going to stretch him in the front, strengthen the back of the body, and we're going to get the same thing going on. We want the head lined up over the shoulder. The building block of the head is over the shoulders over the hips. Same thing. Go ahead and go into your normal posture again. Feel here. And these are real big muscles, the erector spinae, and you see that they're working all day long for no reason as well. So once Tom can now do it by just thinking about his posture and doing a posture check, he can get those muscles to relax.
Okay.
Remember that, bad habits, bad postural habits become fixed bad posture as we get older. So Tom's right at the cusp of when he can get a hold of this. We can change his body with proper stretching and strengthening. Of course, that's all built into our program here. So we got head lined up over shoulders, shoulders over pelvis. We're going to ask him to hold a little tension in his tummy, not a pelvic tilt. His legs are straight, but his muscles are relaxed. You know, one good definition of good posture is that the least amount of muscles have to work to keep Tom standing straight. And so if these muscles are relaxed and the rectus spinae relaxed, his quads should be relaxed because his knees are straight and locked, and the quads don't have to work to keep him up. So this is a great posture for Tom to start with. When we get done with him the next 16 weeks, we're going to do even better.
You'll be right as rain, Tom.
Excellent. So let's get into some of the stretching. We're going to do our standing stretches first. The first one is the head hang, and the reason it's called a head hang is because just that. We want the head to hang, we don't want to force it. We want to remember that stretching is an act of relaxation. We have to coax muscles to relax, not coerce them, not to force them. So the head hang is just that, gentle hang. We look over to one armpit, and you'll feel the stretch on the opposite side. These are great exercises that release stress, so they're great for your daily activities as well as your pre and post exercise workout. We always come back to the middle, Sam, and straight back up. Great. Then we have the cross chest. So go ahead and pull across the chest. You're going to see built into our program a lot of stretches for the areas of the body that I know as a physical therapist always break down. So we're going to have a built-in bias in this program to speak to the vulnerabilities of the human body. And they're very characteristic. We know how different athletes break down in different sports. We know how desk workers, let's switch sides. People who sit at desks all day, we know what problems they have. And I always felt that as a physical therapist, we're in a great position to create a fitness program that speaks to those vulnerabilities. Great. And relax. Now we're going to go to the penguin. And once again, we're stretching the back of the shoulder. So our hands are behind us on our pelvis, but not so far that they fall off. And the elbows come forward, proud chest, head back. And you're going to feel kind of a diffuse stretch. Do you feel that through here, guys? It's stretching the rotator cuff muscle, specifically the back of the rotator cuff, the back of the shoulder, which we know is always wrought with issues, and we're addressing those. We're being proactive. Well, we're going to move during the program from this stretch to the swan, and that's by making a fist here and just bringing the elbows back. We're getting a great bicep stretch and a stretch in front of the shoulder. Excellent. Good job. Let's go ahead and relax. We'll come back to neutral. We're always going to posture check in between stretches, so it's chest high, head back a few millimeters, a little tension in the tummy, quads are relaxed because our knees are straight. From this position, we're going into the standing upper trap. So I'm going to grab this wrist with this hand behind me, and now I'm going to bring my head down, neutral, into the middle, and then over to looking towards that opposite arm. So we're looking to the opposite arm of which wrist we grab. And this one is a big stretch for here, right, Tom?
Oh yeah, I feel it.
Really good stress release, great for the middle of the workday, really important before and after your workouts. And relax. And now let's switch. So now we're going to hold the opposite wrist down, go down to the chest always first, and over looking into the other arm. Perfect. Getting both sides nicely, a great release. And now we're back upright. So to begin stretching the pecs out and starting to address the postural issues, our pec stretch is the next exercise. Your hands laced behind your head. It's important not to push your head forward, but to bring your elbows back, open your chest, and feel a stretch. Really important, great stretch to do at your desk, great stretch to do before and after your workouts. And relax. Good. So let's lay down now, and we're going to do the press-up exercises to start our lower body stretching. You guys would both lie here this way.
Sure.
The press-up exercise is critical to address issues of the low back. It's very important that we maintain a relaxation of all the muscles except the arms. The only muscles I want working are the arms. We want to have the butt relaxed, and a great way to do that is to turn the heels out or the toes in. It really helps you relax the gluteal muscles in the buttocks. And now we're pressing up. You see Sam's come all the way up until the point where your pelvis is about to lift and then back down. So there's no hold on this exercise. It's pressure on and pressure off. Sam's got her hands out here. I find that women are easier to do this exercise with the hands placed in this direction. Tom's elbows are back. They're both correct, whatever feels great for you. There might be a little bit of tightness in the low back. That's fine. We'll work with that. But you should only go up to your limits. Feel what's comfortable and stay within your limits. Stretching is also not a competitive sport. It has nothing to do with how the person next to you looks. It's about finding your limits and progressing them a little bit each week, each month through this program. Excellent. Now, we're going to turn on the back, and I think we'll flip head to the other end of the table. So on our back, when we do these exercises, this position we're going to come back to time and time again. When we say set your position, we mean make sure your feet are hips width apart. They're going to want to drift together, and that's going to make the exercise a little bit less effective. The first basic move I need to teach everyone is the pelvic tilt. It's nothing more than tightening your tummy muscles and pushing your low back down against the floor. In this way, keep breathing. In this way, we assure that the back is flat and safe on the mat while we're doing different exercises, moving our legs. So from this position, feet hips width apart, pelvic tilt so the back is safe, shoulders relaxed, heads relaxed. We're going to cross your right leg over your left, and I want you to pull that knee towards your opposite shoulder. The knee's not going to reach your opposite shoulder, it's just in the direction of your opposite shoulder. I'm sure Tom and Sam will tell you they're feeling a great stretch in the buttock on each side. Yeah.
I'm feeling that real well.
My work with runners has led us to the strong feeling that this exercise is essential for runners. The buttock muscles get tight with running and other athletics, and it's real important to stretch them out. We find that female athletes even get tighter here because of the shape of the pelvis. Now, when we reverse the legs, we want to make sure that pelvic tilt is good and strong. So we put the legs back down, we resume the pelvic tilt, we cross one leg over the other, and now we're pulling towards the opposite shoulder. So again, you're pulling in a diagonal towards the opposite shoulder. It's okay if it doesn't reach there. It's not going to reach there, it's just in that direction. Great stretch for runners, great stretch for all of us to do before and after our workouts. Okay, and let's make sure you resume your pelvic tilt, lower one leg at a time, reset your feet at hips width apart, and now we're going to go into pelvic rotation. This is nothing more than tightening the abs again into the pelvic tilt, dropping both legs over to one side. You can let everything come off the table except your shoulder, in this case on this side, and then you can stack one foot on top of the other, and then relax totally. You're melting into the table. Don't hold any tension. I'll have your arm up here probably, Sam. Great.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
Like
And you're feeling the stretch all through here, I take it? Good. The beginning stretch, important one. If you have any doubt, always do a few of the beginning ones, and then we'll go to the advanced form. We're going to come back up. While you're coming up, we're resuming the pelvic tilt to make sure your spine is safe. Reset your feet, and let's go to the other side.
Bob, how do we know if we're stretching too much? What's the definition of a stretch?
That's a great question, Tom. We use a principle called the subsiding tension principle. The subsiding tension principle dictates that you tune in to the tension you feel in the stretch. And as you stay in the same position, if you feel that tension increasing every second, you've overstretched. So what you want to do is then let up. If you feel it decrease, you can go deeper into the stretch. Subsiding tension principle. If you follow that, it's much more effective. You can't force a muscle to stretch, you have to coax it. And we're coming back up, resuming the pelvic tilt. Let's spread your knees again to check your position. Excellent. The next stretch we're going to do is the advanced pelvic rotation. So once again, pelvic tilt, cross one leg over the other, and now drop both legs to that side which you crossed. Keep your feet on the ground and slide your legs up. Now, a lot of these stretches look a lot like other stretches you've seen, but there's built-in safety features. Now, we'll go over them as we go through the stretches so you know what I consider right from wrong stretching. And that really increased the stretch, didn't it, Sam?
Should my shoulders still be on the floor over here?
Great question. Put your arm out, both arms out, in fact, and I want you to look that way. So really, in this position, we're getting a good pec stretch. Right, Tom? You feel that there? So if your pecs are tight, you keep that shoulder down. How far you should go is another aspect of Tom's question. In this position, you only go far enough until that shoulder lifts up. If it lifts up, you better go back. So in addition to the subsiding tension principle, it's a functional thing of the position. Great. Come back up and keep your feet crossed that way. Come back to neutral. Great. I'm sorry, keep your foot crossed that way. Okay. There's another stretch, variation of the stretch that you're going to see us do in the program, and that's to keep the legs crossed like this and now drop to this side. And it's the same thing, perfect. You're going to look the other way. You're going to keep your shoulder down, and this gets more in the front of the leg here. Yes. And my work with a lot of athletes, just like Sam, elite runners and sprinters, forced us to become creative, to find stretches that address the problem areas that runners encounter. Let's come back up. And now we're going to uncross, feet hips width apart, pelvic tilt, cross the other leg. Excellent, go in that direction. Good.
Now, Bob, I know so many people are going to ask questions about stretching before exercise. There's such confusion. And I know we do this because you believe and we believe we should. Can you just tell us why?
That's a great question. The question always comes up, should I stretch cold? And I say, well, when you're dead, you shouldn't stretch. But before that, you're never cold.
Right.
So your body at its natural temperature is perfectly adapted for stretching. Look, ballerinas don't go in the room and run around and break a sweat. They walk in the room, put their leg up on the bar and start stretching. They have some of the best flexibility of all athletes, so it works. So that's my answer for that, Tom, and I understand that people, can you get a better stretch when you warm up? Yes, but you get a perfectly fine stretch at body temperature, and many of us can't even afford to take the first step in running or do the first exercise without stretching muscles out. You know, you get up from your desk at work, your hip flexors are tight, your pecs are tight. You don't want to go running in that form. You want to open up your body, allow the proper mechanics that we alluded to earlier in the commentary. The key point is to not let the body off stretch. And that's why from this position, not only we're not going to let the feet go across the midline, we're actually going to pull them up towards the head a tad. Tune in to the tension of the stress. Is the stress reducing as you hold the position? Then you can go further. If it's increasing every second while you're holding the same position, you've gone too far, you need to let up. Great. Let's come back up to the midline. Put your foot at, keep your legs crossed because we're going to drop again now that way. Excellent.
And so I should pull this up, Bob, is what you're saying, towards me a little
In this
more?
one, it's not as critical, but you can do that some.
Okay.
I want to show you a mistake a lot of folks make with this stretch is that they'll take their feet off the ground when they're doing the stretch. So come back up, Sam. A lot of folks bring the foot off the ground and then drop to one side or the other. Not safe for the low back. We want the foot on the ground. We want the back protected in all of our exercise positions. You're going to see that constantly throughout all the routines of this exercise program. We're protecting the surrounding joints. When we're stretching, we're protecting joints while we're exercising. There's no reason to take any risk with your health. We're going to keep it as safe as possible. Great. Come on back up. And so we're going to move on. You can uncross your legs, and we're going to do the adductor stretch for the inner thigh. Again, it's the beginning form of the stretch. We'll show the more advanced form later. I'm sorry, Tom, I want you to come up one leg at a time. That's a great point, though. One leg at a time is a lot less stress on the back. I will never ask you in this whole series to have both of your legs south of 90 degrees, if you follow me, because there's too much stress on the back, too much force moment on the low back. So Tom's already got in the position. Sam, we're going to do the same. Your hands are on your knees, not on your thighs, nowhere else. You're on your knees. The knees are still at 90 degrees, which means they're at a right angle to Sam's body. And she's gently asking the muscles to stretch by giving a little bit of overpressure. If you get on your back and yank it, you could possibly overstretch and put an undue stress on the muscle and the tendon. Great. When you come back, it's both legs here, and then it's one leg down at a time. Perfect. Now, we're going to address the front of the body, the quadriceps, so let's turn on our sides. If you can both face towards me, it'll be easier to work.
Hi, Tom.
How are you?
Doing good.
You guys know each other.